Hey, welcome back. We're going back to the Volta region where landowners at Sokode in the whole municipality are calling on government to honor its promise to pay compensations to them when it acquired over 700 acres of land to build the University of Health and Allied Sciences, UHAS, in 2010. Now, the landowners, led by their consultant, Wisdom Dafemakbo, are demanding government pays them what is due as soon as practicable. According to them, some landowners are dying because of the delay in the payment of the compensation. I have Wisdom Dafemakbo, who is the land consultant for UHAS landowners, here in the studio. How far are you? How far have you come with the negotiation with government?
Yeah, thank you very much, madam. As at now, we can say a letter have been sent to government from Land Valuation Division of Land Commission.
Okay.
For the release of funds to pay for this bill.
A letter has been sent to the Lands Commission.
From Lands Commission to the Ministry of Finance.
To the Ministry of Finance, yes. And you were on copy of that letter.
Yes.
Is that the letter you have there?
This is the letter I have there.
Okay, so why do you think the money has not been paid yet?
This is what we are totally confused as consultants as why the money is not being paid up to date. So all efforts to get government pays this money is being thwarted by. And
by government, you've been speaking to the Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance, you don't speak to them. They don't give the chance to speak to them.
So if you were aware of this letter asking the Ministry of Finance to pay you, where did you make your follow-up? Where did you follow up?
No, we make a follow-up on several occasions. But
okay, with who?
We went to the Ministry of Finance. Our valuer went to the Ministry of Finance to meet the minister. Okay. But we are meant to understand that the file is somewhere, asking somebody just to bring it up for the minister to see, and the file is there.
I see. So government took about 700 acres of land and built it. Did they pay anything at all? Was there any sort of documented agreement between your client and government?
Yeah. After acquisition, government had to come out with a executive instrument, which they did.
Yeah.
So the law says within 6 months, the landowners must bring up their valuation, which we did.
Okay.
So it means government acquired the land legally. It was submitted a valuation.
Okay.
They go on and finally came out with their figure that they are paying so much for an anchor.
Okay.
So we accepted it as landowners. We accepted their figure, which amounted to almost 30 million Ghana cedis, 29.9 something.
Yes, so almost 30 million Ghana cedis.
So the only thing we are expecting is that Land Commission should just call us, Land Valuation should just call us and say yes, the money is ready, paid to the various accounts to the landowners.
Okay, but this is a letter from the Lands Commission.
Yes.
That's directed to the Ministry, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning.
Yeah.
So Lands Commission has already done their part. Yeah. Now the challenge here is with the Ministry of Finance, correct?
Correct.
And when you went to the Ministry of Finance, they did not allow you to meet the minister.
No, you don't meet the minister. You say, see chief director, see this person.
Okay, so when you saw the chief director, what kind of conversation went on?
Yeah, that's why I earlier said that the file is somewhere, just somebody to lift it up.
So the explanation they gave you at the Ministry of Finance is that the file is somewhere, and they need someone to bring it out.
Just send it to Minister's table. Minister, this is the file. That one to become a problem.
I see. That's the explanation the chief director gave you?
Yeah.
How long have you been following up on this money?
Oh, since the letter came out in May, June, July.
May this year.
Even July with petition. August with petition. August 16, petition the minister. Okay. Explaining why they should pay this money. Immediately.
Was there a response?
No, we haven't received any written response, no verbal communication. Nothing. That's what happened.
Okay. You're saying that some of your clients are dying because of this money? How? Because
the people are of age and continue aging. Some people are between 85 and 90.
Okay.
A gentleman, one of the old men died recently, just because of children could not get money to buy drugs. Before we made a contact to get somebody to come and acquire part of the land and take the compensation if he's paid, before we get the person, the old man is dead.
But
just because of drugs.
So the children could not raise the money to buy drugs for the old man and he died?
Yes, because the children, they are not all that well to do. And the only place they can get the livelihood is from the land. By tilling the land to get some food, sell some, upkeep. But now government to the land, you cannot even go there to even harvest your palm, because it's now a state property. So you haven't paid compensation.
Have you engaged the university's authorities?
Severally.
What did they say?
The previous vice chancellor. He said he's a user institution, so we should go to who acquired the land. That's government.
If government still doesn't hear you out and bring, give you a favorable response, what's going to be your next line of action? What are your plans?
Now, the next action will be, we better go on the street, go and pitch camp at the university campus and disrupt academic activities until the money is paid, because it's becoming too much for us to bear.
But wouldn't that means you're taking the law into your own hands? Then would that be?
It doesn't amount to that. The law allows that. You can demonstrate. You can pitch camp.
But you're going to. You say you're going to disrupt academic activities.
People when they sat at the campus, cooking there, doing everything there, academic teaching will go on well.
So you're going to pitch camp there. You're going to stay on the campus and be cooking and live there. There and there. That's the only option for you.
That's the only option, because we are at the legal process. We are not at court. But the court will go come. There's conflict. There's this. There's this.
Okay, now tell me a bit about the conflict. What's this conflict about?
There's no conflict actually on the ground.
Okay.
But Attorney General wrote this letter to us telling us that there are conflicting claims. Okay,
let's have a look at this. So this is a letter in the matter of the compensation for the University of Health and Allied Sciences, and they're saying that the Lands Commission, in their response to our letter, stated the following: that on 29th of January, and it goes on and on, the Lands Commission wrote to inform the respective claim valuation consultant that their clients' respective claim site plans had been plotted on the proprietary plan, and majority of the site plans plotted, whether partially or wholly, overlap and are therefore in conflict. So it means that someone else is also claiming the land.
That's what they are alleging by Solicitor General.
But maybe that's why they're not paying you then.
But, excuse me. Meanwhile, it is not true.
Okay.
When we ask our lawyers to react to it, they reacted to it. We asked them to give us who is actually laying claim to what size of land. They could not able to tell us it's Kojo, it's Ama, it's 10 acres, it's 20 acres. Meanwhile, we have signed joint declaration by the landowner accepting their land sizes. Then what is the conflict again? What is the overlap again? Okay. This is a joint dated 2nd May 2016.
Okay.
So where is the conflict they're talking about?
Okay.
There's not like that.
So I'm going to give you the opportunity here on this set to make a passionate appeal perhaps to the Ministry of Finance, and hopefully you won't have to go and live on the campus.
Yeah.
If you were to meet the minister right now, what would you tell him?
No, we'll just appeal to him to urgently pay this money, because it will be a plus to them. And that perception of this administration that is anti-voter regime will be, in a way, cut down.
You think they are anti-voter regime?
That's the perception. That one is fundamental. It is there. That's the perception.
Okay.
But if they pay this money, then that perception will be a little bit reduced.
Why wasn't it paid in the previous administration?
That's why I'm saying they are using this administrative mafia tactics. Go, there's conflict.
No, but now you're talking about this particular government, and you're saying that they need to clear the perception that they are anti your region.
But now, this money,
but the previous government, well, the previous government didn't have the same perception as being anti-voter region. So why didn't they pay?
This is what I'm telling you, that they are using this administrative mafia tactics to frustrate the landowners. So
why?
We don't know for them.
Okay.
You took a land, you give an LI, we submit our decision to you, and don't pay. It's totally frustrating, just to frustrate the people.
Okay. Well, we won't be able to reach them at the moment, but along the line we'll try and see if we can get any responses for you. But thank you very much for coming. Wisdom Dr. Mekpo is the land consultant for UHAS landowners. Away from that, let's talk about migration. Now, the minority spokesperson on foreign affairs, Okudzeto Ablakwa, has filed an urgent question in Parliament seeking answers from the foreign affairs minister on whether any Ghanaian has been caught up in the slave trade situation in Libya. He has been speaking on that. You'd recall that there are videos going on all over social media, and beyond that, international media has been reporting that there is a booming slave trade market going on in Libya. We can hear from the minister, from the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee now.
countenance. It must not be tolerated, and it should never be accepted. And so certainly as members of parliament, we must stand in solidarity with our fellow black Africans who are being put through this dehumanizing treatment. At this point, we only know that they are black Africans. We've seen the footages. We do not know which country they come from. And so I filed an urgent question today asking the Honorable Foreign Minister to come brief the House. Let us know if our Foreign Ministry has begun an inquiry to ascertain if there are any Ghanaians caught up in that dehumanizing treatment, that slavery that is going on, and also to tell us what steps the government is taking to prevent Ghanaians from falling victim to what is happening. So, per the rules of this House, urgent questions will have to go through the motion. I'm expecting that under 15 days from now, the Honorable Foreign Minister should come to the House and respond to this question. But certainly, these are very, very difficult times for us, and we are all worried. The UN Secretary General has spoken to the issue, and let's hope that there will be some global action. I think that we need to see action. Just admonition, just speeches really will not help. These are people who, if you look at, they are armed and they are using force. We know that Libya is really a failed state now, with at least two governments controlling different territories, and it's become a haven of terrorist organizations, as you do know. So we will need to see some action. I would think that the international community and the African Union should try to get the address of where this is going on, and if force has to be applied, we need to apply force to go rescue these slaves. But let's wait and see what the Honorable Foreign Minister will come tell us about the Ghanaian situation within the context of what is happening. Because at this point, we do not know for sure if Ghanaian citizens have been spared this scourge. And we also need to know what measures are being put in place to prevent Ghanaians from falling victim, because we do know that there are a lot of Ghanaians in Libya and lots of Ghanaians who continue to travel to Libya, despite all the warnings and the cautions that even this House has had to put out. So I'm hoping that we'll get a quick response from the Honorable Foreign Minister.
Okujeto Ablakwa is ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament. In the meantime, though, JoyNews is set to hold a major dialogue with key stakeholders on how to deal with the emerging global crisis of migration. Young people from parts of the continent in the quest for greener pastures have more often been caught in trafficking or have had to pay the ultimate price with their lives in exchange for what they perceive to be good life. JoyNews is partnering Deutsche Welle to seek some answers from government and key stakeholders on how to deal with that menace. Before we start this conversation, though, there's global outrage following a CNN investigative report detailing the horrific experiences of some migrants in Libya who are sold as slaves for as low as $400, which is close to 1,854 Ghana cedis.
Let us take us to our various countries. Can I speak quickly?
We are going inside. Have a seat in your place. Have a seat in your place.
Just take us home.
No food, no water.
Just take us home. Want to go? No food, no water, nothing. I was sold.
What happened?
On my way coming, I was sold. Merciless beating. If you look at most of the people here, if you check their body, you see the mark. They're beating with electric. Even your boot, they took something like a sharp object. Understand? Most of them lost their life there. I was there. The person who came to buy me give the man money. They take me out home. So the money was not even much.
They took people to work by force. Even where we are at the seaside, where we are working the work, they will be beating you when you are working the work. I'm doing your work. They will be maltreating us. Higher. Let us take us to our various countries.
So those are young men there. Obviously, you can tell from his accent that he's Nigerian, and you won't doubt that there are Ghanaians in there. Martha Prince-Lakwa is editor here at JoyNews, and she's in the studio with me. Also here with me is Thomas Mosh. He's head of DW Hausa Service, representing the DW Programs for Africa. This event is also this event will be coming on the 30th of November, I believe. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start with how you feel about seeing these pictures.
Yeah, I mean, these pictures and also the many pictures we have seen from dead bodies being brought on shore from the Mediterranean, they are very saddening, and that's why I think everybody who sees these pictures is looking for some solutions on how to prevent people to entering this situation.
Right, certainly we'll be talking about the solutions. Martha, yourself? I mean, you're Ghanaian, so perhaps it's easier for you to.
This one, you are hearing from them directly, and they are telling you what they are going through. It's not something that someone is telling them to say, so they are telling you the situation they find themselves in. Unfortunately, if we can only locate where they are, then you can go and check who is there. Most, like Thomas is saying, most of them don't get to where they're going to. They die on the way, and they are buried, or they just are thrown into the sea along the way, and it's very devastating.
So let's talk about the solution now. What do we seek to achieve with this town hall meeting? Any of you who wants to go can go.
Yes.
Okay, Thomas?
From our side at DW, the idea to create a special program which is called Migration Dilemma came up because of all these images we have been seeing, and we got some funding from the German Foreign Office. And the idea is to inform, first of all, our viewers, our listeners on radio, on TV, on the social media, on what is happening. Why are people leaving their homes? Why are they going into these dangerous situations? And what are they encountering on the way? And then afterwards, when they maybe have reached Europe, not everything is wonderful there as well. And so that was the idea, and one major point is that we want to engage the people who are the ones that are maybe having the idea to go. So that's why we come to countries like Ghana, and we have been to Niger, to Guinea, and Gambia and others, to discuss these issues in public and find out, well, what are the reasons why they want to go and what could be maybe done to give them a perspective in their home country.
I think one of the things that the German government, for example, has tried to do is to try and deal with the problem at the source, they think. But do you really think that it's worked over the years? Because the people hear the stories, they hear the horrific stories, they see the pictures, but it doesn't seem to be changing their minds.
Apparently, for many people, the situation they are in their home countries is still so frustrating that they say, I don't care. Many people, you hear them, they say, whether I die here because of starvation or whatever, or whether I at least try to get to a place where I could maybe make a better living. If I die on the way, well, but if I make it, then at least I have a perspective. So, of course, you cannot say whether you really change people's minds by informing them. But on the other hand, I think the main issue is really to find solutions in their home countries to give them a perspective, and that's why we also inform about efforts to create jobs, for example, and how it worked. So that's also a perspective we are trying to take.
Okay, Martha, I'll have you speak to us about the kind of stakeholders we're engaging, because most of the problems people have said boils down to corruption. Corruption is the reason why most of our young people don't have jobs, that they are poor. So I'll have you speak to us about that. But I have on the line now Dr. Vladimir Enchi-Danso. He's an international relations expert. Just because we dealt with the Libyan situation, let's try and have a little bit of a quick chat on that. Sir, thank you very much for your time here on The Pulse. We've seen what's happening in Libya. I don't know how much of that you have followed, but the CNN is reporting that there's some sort of booming slave trade market happening there in Libya. How can Ghana engage Libya, and on which level? And how does Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs go about this?
Again, with your question is low.
Okay, I'm asking how Ghana can engage Libya on this report we're getting from CNN about this booming slave trade that's ongoing there. And obviously, there are Ghanaians there.
Well, we must put the whole thing in proper perspective. What we have on hand right now is beyond Libya, I believe. Because if you know, the governance system in Libya now is not monolithic. It's not you may engage the Libyan government, which of the government? The one America is supporting, or the one which is in Benghazi, or which? But the Libyan government may not have the capacity to address the issue now. They may even have an interest, whoever controls the enclave. So when they say we should engage the Libyan government, it's like the situation in Lebanon. People say engage the government, stop Hezbollah. But Hezbollah is more powerful than the government in place. I believe the international community must now take this up as a serious international problem and solve it. Because if we leave it to the Libyan government, we are not going to see an end to this problem.
But how can Ghana engage? What are the options available to the Ghanaian government or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs?
A collective approach, a UN approach, AU approach. Because if we begin to think that we are engaging the Libyan government or we are going in by force, there's no way. The only way is a diplomatic approach to a collective effort. I don't believe that engaging the Libyan government will yield anything. We will make an effort, but that's the kind of conflict that is going on, which will make it impossible. Because they cannot say they are not in the know. These are stranded immigrants who know that Libya is not their destination. These are other stranded people who were caught up in the crossfires, who decided to stay back. And so it's something very serious where the international migration should be able to deal with. We must make the noise for the EU, for AU, for the international community under the UN should be able to use all the powers under their feet to be able to solve this problem. Engaging the Libyan government is not the answer.
It's not the answer. So thank you very much for your time here on the show. Dr. Vladimir Enchi-Danso is an international relations expert. Martha, we're just speaking about the kind of stakeholders we're engaging in this migration discussion.
So apparently we have a national migration policy. I didn't know about it until I started searching to get more information about migration in Ghana. So this policy is there on paper, but we've not started working with it yet.
Okay.
And it's supposed to address some of these issues so that those who are brought back, those who are deported, those who find their way back, we can find a way of reintegrating them, resettling them and all that. But it's a huge document. It was worked on by an interministerial committee.
Okay.
You have Ministry of Interior on it, you have Employment on it, you have all others who are supposed to work towards a holistic implementation of it, but it's not working. For now, we're going to have government tell us the plan to be able to create more jobs, because most of these young people, if you speak to them, they tell you they are going to look for job where it doesn't exist. If you get there and you find one, what kind of condition are you going to find yourself in? It's another thing, because we have people coming back from the Gulf states with horrific stories. They went in search of greener pastures too. Okay. So we have the employment minister coming for this town hall, which is on 30th, and we have the information minister also there. Okay. Then one key stakeholder, the International Organization for Migration, is going to be there represented to tell us what we can do to tackle this problem. They contributed to our national migration policy too. So the proposals they make in there, they are going to share with us. We have a migrant returnee who has tried twice, failed, and he tells me that the last encounter was very terrible. So he was arrested on the sea and sent back to Ghana. But he doesn't mind trying again. So he wants to go back.
So these are the kind of stories that sometimes, I mean, he probably comes in to share his story, but here's a person who has not had a change of heart.
Yes.
Despite what he's gone through.
Yes, he experienced it, but he still wants to go back. He said, in our local language, why should I stay here? What is here for me? Okay. So you have another one who is telling you that he went, he encountered, he came back willingly and told his colleagues who were trying to venture not to go, because it's not safe for them. They may never return. And they said, but you went and came back. Why can't I go? So they also want to go and experience
and that's the question I want to put to you, Thomas, whether or not there is any strategy to help disabuse people's minds about, well, you went and you're back. And sometimes they've seen people who go and come back and put up all kinds of flashy lifestyles, you know, so there's a certain level of attraction. How will this town hall address that?
Well, the town hall, I think, here in Accra will, I think, not so much focus on that, because we have more the Ghanaian perspective here. While we are trying to use our programs to also show the reality of life in Europe, and to tell, well, of course there are people who achieve something and who have something to show for after. That's not something that they make up, even though there are a lot of people who make up things. So we want to show also the bitter reality, and that's many more people who are living in very bad conditions. If you look at Italy, where you have a lot of prostitutes, the women that were brought there with being told you will make money by doing this and that, and finally they end up in prostitution. You have people in other countries in Europe who are picking tomatoes or sweeping toilets or whatever under very severe conditions, and probably they don't tell that to their families when they send some money back. So we are trying just to inform people so that they can make up their own mind. We will not be able to change their minds, I don't think so, but they have to be informed. That's our business, information. And also to inform, of course, the decision makers here and in Europe, because they are the ones who maybe can change the situation on the ground.
Okay. All right. Well, let me take your final words. Martha, what should people... Is it open to everybody?
Yes, open. Open. You are all invited. You'll be there at 5 p.m. We'll go live at 5:30
so let's take
TV.
it this way. Give us the location. We've run a few promos, but give us the location, the time, who can come, and what to expect.
So if you're thinking of embarking on this journey, you need information. Come for the information from us. So join us at the University of Ghana Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research. That is ISE main auditorium. You should be seated by 5 p.m. because we'll go live on TV, on radio and online by 5:30 p.m. And the program ends at 7 p.m. So we can find ways of helping people understand that you can make it here as well. As our promo says, stay put.
All right, we'll see how many people will be staying put. I'm quite hopeful. Your final words? Your final words?
Yeah, I hope that after the discussion, some people, especially among the decision makers, would have understood more about the situation and will maybe act accordingly.
At least saving one life from the bunch that will embark on this journey.
Matters. Very well. I've been speaking with Thomas Mosch, and he's the head. It seems the Germans like a lot of Thomas, right? Because we've been doing a crossover every Wednesday, and we talk to Thomas as well. Okay, Thomas Mosch is head of the Hausa service, Chivela. Martha Kwesalakwa.
Good.
Is editor here at JoyNews. Thank you very much for passing through. In the meantime, illegal migration and youth unemployment is set to dominate this afternoon's meeting in between President Akufo-Addo and the Prime Minister of Italy, Paolo Gentiloni, who is on a state visit to Ghana. That meeting has yet to take place, but here's an earlier interaction between the two leaders.
Our countries is modest, but it's important.
Anche il commercio tra l'Italia e il Ghana è rafforzato.
And the biggest investment in our nation for over a decade is that that's been made by the Italian state-owned petroleum company Eni.
E possiamo anche menzionare l'ENI, che ha anche aiutato in quest'area di economia o di commercio.
The Eni investment is extremely important for the future of our country.
L'investimento dell'ENI è veramente importante nell'economia del Ghana.
Not only in developing our oil deposits,
non solo nell'area del deposito dell'olio,
but also perhaps even more significantly in the gas resources that are going to be developed by them.
ma anche in altre aree importanti in Ghana.
The environment gives us the opportunity to become increasingly self-sufficient in our energy generation.
Con questo progetto il Ghana riesce ad essere autosufficiente.
And we're looking forward, in fact, to an even greater intercourse with the ENI that will allow us to go into other areas of the energy portfolio.
Si spera di andare avanti, a parte l'energia, di andare in altre aree con l'ENI.
We're hoping that they will partner with us in developing our solar and renewable resources.
The economic relationship between the two countries are very positive.
E come il Presidente ha ricordato, siamo molto fieri innanzitutto dell'investimento che l'ENI ha realizzato in questo Paese.
And as the President rightly said, we are very proud of what Italy has done, ENI has done in Ghana.
Un investimento di 7 miliardi di dollari, che è l'investimento più importante negli ultimi 15 anni in Africa occidentale.
That is 7 billion in 15 years, which is a very important investment.
Petrolio, gas, energie rinnovabili fanno parte del futuro dello sviluppo di ogni paese.
It should be noted that gas and renewable energy are very important in a developing country.